G'day friends, my name is Franny and welcome to Considered Body. This is your chill mode yoga class. Child's pose is going to be our home base in this practice. So we will have our knees slightly wider and our toes coming together to touch behind us. With that being said, if that wider quadruped position causes any discomfort in your knees or your hips, I strongly encourage you to switch things up and find something that feels a little bit better for you. With that being said, I also encourage you to grab blankets, bolsters, blocks, whatever props you need to feel supported. Last little bit of housekeeping, we will be moving laterally off our mat, so make sure you've got some space to spill off the edges. And with that, we will get started kneeling towards the back edge of our mat. Right away, we're going to find that child's pose base. So fan your knees slightly wider towards the edges of your mat, and then bring your big toes to touch, sitting your sitting bones down onto your heels. Find an alert but relaxed spine. Let your shoulder blades fall wide, and find a little bit of length through the crown of your head, almost like you were gently pressing your head into a headrest in a car. Just let your hands rest on the tops of your thighs as you arrive in this grounded kneeling position. Pay a little bit more attention to your next breath in through your nose. And find a little bit more softness, your next breath out through your nose. Again, a little bit more attention, noticing the details of your next inhale. And then see if you can let go of something, find a little bit of surrender on your next exhale. One more breath in, just like that. You're here, you've arrived, and we will now begin our practice. If your eyes were closed, I invite you to keep them closed. If they were open, just find a softness to your gaze. And as you next breathe in, start to stretch your arms outwards, upwards, nice and wide, and then interlace your hands atop of your head. Big reach through the length of your arms from armpits to fingertips. Maybe you find a little extension through your upper back without compromising through your lumbar spine, this puffing beneath your rib cage. Maybe you let your head drop just a little. Take one more sip of air. And then as you exhale, release the grip of your hands. Once again, trace that big wide circle as you sweep your arms behind your back, this time interlacing your fist at the tailbone, squeezing your upper arm bones, pulling your shoulder blades towards one another. Again, broadening across your chest, but this time our reach is back and behind. Finding that little bit of extension without letting your rib cage flare or your low back compromise. Take one more inhale, find that little bit more reach, that little bit more space. And as you exhale, get a little bit longer through your neck, a little bit lower with your shoulder blades. And then as you next breathe in, release the grip behind you, start to elongate your spine forward, hands come down to the ground, child's pose. So walking your fingertips as far away as you feel good. This might be your first child's pose of the day, so your low back, your hips, your glutes, they might be a fraction more vocal. If so, that's okay. Take your time as you settle into it. Again, paying a little bit more attention to your next inhale. And finding that little bit of softness and surrender as you next exhale. Take one more curious, conscious breath. Again, knowing you can adjust the position of your knees, your feet as you need, as we start to move through our practice. It might mean you adjust You find your foundation and you stay there, or you adjust with every posture, with every breath. Continual adaptation. Always meeting yourself where you're at. Starting to undulate our spine. As you next breathe in, start to shift your weight forward, coming up onto your knees, coming up onto your hands, gliding your chest forward, letting your hips drop, unfurling like a fern, getting length, and again, that little bit of extension. And then as you exhale, start to shift your weight back, pressing into your palms, pulling your hips towards your heels, finding grounding, getting earthed, imagining you're a seed as you land again in your child's pose. And we're going to move through that 2 more times as you inhale, unfurl, unwind, find that extension, a little bit of space through the front of the hips, the front of the belly, the collarbones, shoulder blades anchored, pulling to your middle back. And then as you exhale, getting small, getting grounded, getting earthed. Imagine you're a seed surrounded by dirt, and then just settle in, that brief pause, and then once again, lengthen, shift forward, extend, get long like you're reaching for the sun, feeling its warmth, and then exhale, curling in, getting quiet, enveloped by a little darkness, a seed in the dirt. And then next time you breathe in, start to shift forward, this time gliding your hands beneath your shoulders, so you're in this different kind of all fours position. You've got that wide knee, toes pulled in, but your hands, they're just beneath your shoulder heads. Keep your left palm grounded, and then as you breathe in, start to float your right arm to the sky. For a thread the needle, as you exhale, take your right arm beneath your left armpit. Let the outer edge of your shoulder get heavy. Let the side of your head settle down. And then maybe you slide your left hand forward, getting that little bit more weighty on the outer edge of your right shoulder, feeling the sensation that's arising from your middle back and your thoracic spine. Breathing into the rotation, one more inhale, one more exhale. As you drink in your air, glide your left palm back beneath your left shoulder, and then start to reach your right arm to the sky, unwinding once again. And when you arrive there, as you breathe out, find a half bind, reaching your right hand for your left hip, finding that little catch. If that's too much, maybe you bring your palm to your sacrum, your low back instead. Take a breath in here, get a little bit wider across your collarbone. And then as you exhale, start to sit your hips back. Swing your legs over to the left, and then extend your left leg long. Keep the right sole of your foot into the inseam of your left thigh. Sitting bones nice and heavy. Start to lean over your left leg, keeping your half bind at the crease of your hip. Staying right here, or maybe you start to reach your right arm up and over in the direction of your left toes. Wherever you're at, keep your right sitting bone as heavy as you can as you get really spacious in your ribs, your intercostals, finding that little bit more energy shooting out through your right fingertips, letting your left arm, your palm, your forearm get that little bit heavier and grounded. Take one more breath in. And then as you breathe out, find this cartwheel motion of your arms as you set your right hand down behind your hips and then lift up onto your right knee, circling your left arm up and around, finding this wild thing. Big squeeze of your glutes to feel the stretch in the inseams of your legs, the front of your hips. Breathe in. And then as you breathe out, reverse that motion, sit your hips back down, lean up and over to your left once again. Pelvis is heavy. You might stay here in the side lean or start to rotate your chest in line with your left femur. Both hands come down, not pulling or tugging yourself into the fold, but rather just using The extension of your arms is an anchoring. Use your breath in to create a little bit more length through your spine. And use your breath out to find that little bit more holding, settling, coming into land on the ground. As you next breathe in, slowly use your hands, walk them up the length of your left leg, and then start to shift your weight forward along the mat, keeping your left leg extended and laterally out to the side. Readjust your right knee as you need. Now we're in this extended child's pose quadruped position. So again, heels of your hands beneath the heads of your shoulders. And we're just gonna rock backwards and forwards. So maybe you let your collarbones travel over the tips of your fingers, and then push into your palms, drop your hips back towards your right heel, feeling the length and sensation at the inseam of your left leg. Rocking backwards and forwards, thinking of what's touching the ground as your anchor, thinking of what's touching air like a boat on top of water. Finding this sense of fluidity and ease, but at the same time, we're connected. Take one more shift in each direction. And then next time your shoulders are over your wrists, hold right there. Take a breath in. And then as you breathe out, just start to step your left foot forward and in between your hands. You can shift your right knee to come more parallel and closer in towards your center line if you need. If not, you can stay right where you are. Feel that connection to the ground through your front foot, your back shin. And then as you next breathe in, sweep your arms up towards the sky, finding a wider version of a low lunge. Interlacing your fingers up above your head, just like we did in the beginning. Find that little bit more length from the pits of your arms to the tips of your fingers. Maybe you tip your head back. Option to stay right here, or unwind your fingers, finding more of a prayer position, and then pull your thumbs towards the nape of your neck. Again, pressing your head into your forearms like you would a headrest on a car. Getting that little bit more expansive. Maybe you drop your hips towards your front heel. Inhale and exhale. As you next breathe in, push into your front foot, lift your arms back up. And then as you exhale, start to set your left hand down inside your left leg and keep your right arm reaching to the sky. So we're in this funky low lunge with your left knee, really traveling forward of your left toes. Spread your wingspan wide, a little pressure of your left elbow into the inseam of your left thigh. Big breath in. And then as you breathe out, push into your front foot, pull your hips back. It's a variation of half splits, bringing your right hand to your sacrum, sending your gaze to your left fingertips. Maybe you walk them a fraction further forward. Big stretch through the back line of your left leg. Maybe a little sensation through the outer edge of your right hip as well. Just notice what is arising in your body. And we're just going to move between those two shapes. So as you inhale, left knee travels forward, right arm reaches up and over, hips drop. And then as you exhale, hips pull back, right hand to sacrum. Maybe you get a little bit more lifted and light through your left fingertips. One more time, just like that. Inhale, find your lunge, find your side body reach. And then as you exhale, find your version of half splits, hand towards the back of your hips, bowing inwards. And we're going to pause right here. Maybe you keep your back hand on your sacrum, or maybe you rotate your spine further forward like you're bowing just inside your left leg, both hands to the ground, anchoring your shoulder blades, pulling your chest forward and through, getting that little bit of extension through your upper back, and then maybe surrendering in. Take one more breath in and one more breath out. As you next breathe in, bend your left knee. Maybe you shift your right knee in just a fraction, finding more of a lizard lunge position. Right palm stays grounded beneath your right shoulder, and then bring your left hand on top of your left thigh or knee, finding this gentle twist through our thoracic spine, keeping your hips relatively square to the ground, anchoring your shoulder blades, lengthening through the crown of your head, the tips of your ears. Breathe into your belly. And then as you exhale, maybe you can find that little bit more push through both palms, your forward leg. And then when you're ready, start to unwind, heel toe your left foot to the side, set your left hand down, and then step your left leg back, readjusting your knees to that nice fanned position. And we meet again in child's pose. If you can set your head, your forehead on the ground, I encourage you to go there. And maybe you just rock from side to side to massage your third eye space. Just noticing how you are with this sense of curiosity and a sense of compassion to whatever is arising. Knowing, just like the waves of the ocean, whatever it is, it will pass. So we don't grasp, we don't cling, whether it's good or bad, we just welcome. And then we let it go. Settling into stillness as you come through center, take a mindful breath in through your nose and a cleansing breath out through your mouth. Breathing through your nose as you next inhale, shift your weight forward, unfurl like a fern frond, let your hips drop, let your heart lift. And then as you exhale, press back, grounding down once again in your child's pose. This time as you ripple forward, glide the heels of your hands beneath your shoulders, readjust your knees as you need, finding your wide base quadruped. Threading the needle once again, right hand is your base. Inhale your left arm to the sky. Rotating from your bottom ribs up to your chest. And then exhale, left arm threads beneath your right armpit, finding this rotation in the opposite direction. Letting the outer edge of your left shoulder get heavy, start to extend your right fingertips away. Sending your gaze towards the ceiling, your armpit, or closing down the eyes. Where do you need to direct your gaze to feel most connected to the sensations of your body? This is a listening practice as much as it is a movement practice. As you next breathe in, start to pull your right hand back beneath your right shoulder and start to spiral your left arm up towards the sky. Finding your half bind if it's in your reach. Start to bend your left elbow, sweeping your left shoulder behind you. Finding that little catch of the back of your left hand at your right hip. If this isn't available to you, you can always bring your hand to your palm to your low back instead. Take another breath in here. And then as you breathe out, start to shift your weight back, your hips back. Swing your legs out to the right side this time, finding our single leg forward fold position. Right toes are flexed, left foot kisses the inseam of your right leg. Start to glide your right arm down the length of your right leg, leaning up and over to your right side, using a gentle anchoring of your hand, your arm, rather than a pulling, a tugging. Letting gravity do the work in this shape. You might stay right here with the catch of the bind, or you have the option to extend your left arm up and overhead. Wherever you are, find that little bit more weight, that little bit more grounding through your left side sitting bone, not allowing it to peel away from the floor. Lift your heart, get big through your left side ribs. Take one more breath in. And then as you breathe it out, it's this big sweeping motion. Set your left palm down to the ground behind your hips. Squeeze your butt as you lift up onto your left knee, big circle of your wingspan, taking up as much space through your reach as you can, feeling the opening at the front of your hips. And then gently start to set yourself down, unwind, working in reverse, taking your right hand back to your right leg, leaning up and over in your side body stretch. You can stay with the up and over lean or start to rotate your chest in line with your right thigh, grounding both hands down wherever you can, and then leaning forward and away. Closing your eyes, letting your chin fall towards your heart space. Anchoring through the back of your pelvis. Lengthening through the back of your right leg. Take one more sip of air. Inhale and exhale. Slowly start to rotate forward, bringing your hands onto your mat. Walk them up and ground them beneath your shoulders as you find this extended tripod quadruped position. That's a bit of a tongue twister. With your shoulders over your wrists, start to lean forward, forward, forward. Feel the stretch at the backs of your hands. And then start to pull your hips towards your left heel, feeling the stretch at the inseam of your right leg. And we'll just move between the two here. This flossing motion, not letting your low back compromise. Keep this gentle engagement of your abdomen, your spine neutral. Feeling into what's touching the ground, feeling into what's touching air. Noticing how the sensation changes and adapts with every movement, with every breath. And just take one more rock, forward and back. And then next time your shoulders are stacked over your wrists, hold them there. Take a breath in as you prepare to lunge forward. And then as you exhale, step your right foot in between your hands. And once again, you have the option to adjust the position of your back knee. You can bring it more parallel, closer towards your midline as you need. As you next breathe in, press heavy through your front foot. Start to circle sweep your arms forward and up, finding a clasp above your head, a lift of your chest, getting that little bit of extension in your low lunge, letting your hips drop forward. You have the option of releasing the interlace of your hands and then bending your elbows, bringing your thumbs to the nape of your neck, and then pressing your head into that little headrest you've created. Take another breath in here and another breath out here. As you next breathe in, start to lift your arms. Neutralize your spine and then let your right hand come down just inside the ball mound of your right foot, and then sweep your left arm towards the sky. So it's this element of extended side angle here. You can press your upper arm bone into your forward leg and then find that expansion across your wingspan. Maybe there's a little bit of this side lean reach. Inhale here. And then as you next exhale, shift your hips back, an expression of half splits, half Hanuman. Straighten your right leg, straighten your right arm as you bow over your forward limbs. Moving between the two, inhale, rebend your right knee, let it travel over your toes. Find that side lean, up and over reach. And then exhale, pull everything back. Left hand to your sacrum, dropping in this bowing position. One more time, just like that. Inhale. Exhale and hold. You have the option to stay here with your hand on your sacrum or start to rotate your chest forward towards the direction of the top of your mat. Maybe both hands elongating, reaching away as you bow up and over. Maybe there's a little bit of flexion through your upper back. That's okay. Let your hips be heavy. Your breath be slow and smooth. One more inhale. One more exhale. And then as you next breathe in, start to rebend your right knee. Maybe you adjust your left knee, your base just a little as we find a grounded thoracic twist. Bring your right hand on top of your right thigh. Rotate your chest towards the inseam of your right knee. Anchor your right shoulder blade, widen down your back, and then send your gaze to where the wall and the ceiling meet. Heavy through your right hand, rooted through your left hand. Can you find this little bit more lift through the backside of your heart, the space in between your shoulder blades? Take one more breath in and one more breath out. Inhale as you start to unwind. Set your right hand down, heel, toe, and step your right leg back, finding your child's pose, your home base once again. And just noticing how this posture feels now. Maybe you sit in stillness other than the undulation of your breath, or maybe you find a little sway, a little shimmy, a little rock right and left. Meeting yourself here. This little seed being planted in the ground. This cocoon-like element as you turn inwards. Take 2 more rounds of breath. Slowly, as slowly as you can, start to walk your hands back towards your knees and then use a push down into the ground to start to lift yourself up. Swing your shins, your legs over to one side and then find a cross-legged position with your left shin or foot in front or on top, finding this square or double pigeon-like position. Both sitting bones are grounded. Find that alert but calm lift and lengthen to your spine. Whatever sensation is arising from your hips, I invite you to match it with softness and this serene nature, this serene quality to your attitude and your breath. You might stay here. You might fold forward without letting your sitting bones lift, or you might inhale your arms up and then exhale, twist towards your left leg. Just gently, just softly. Try not to force anything here. We'll just stay for 2 more rounds of breath, slow and deep. Inhale and exhale. Last one. As you next breathe in, gently exit whatever version of this shape you are in, and then just switch the wrap of your legs. So left shin or foot is your base, right leg will come forward or on top. Wiggle or adjust your weight from side to side so both sitting bones can be nice and heavy. Calm but alert spine, shoulders soft, collarbones wide. You might stay right here. You might hinge and fold forward. Or again, you might inhale your arms up and then exhale, gentle twist over towards your right side. Keeping your spine long, but maybe your chin just drops that gradual bit down towards your chest. Slow and easy breath. 2 more rounds. When you're ready, starting to unwind, coming back through center. And then allowing yourself to come into whatever final posture might be calling you, whether that's lying on your back, lying on your belly, or maybe you return to our home-based child's pose. Finding whatever placement of your limbs allows you to best drop in. And we'll breathe our way home in Shavasana here. I will stay with you for the next 5 rounds of breath. But if you have that little bit more time to stay and soak it all up, I encourage you to do so. Breathing in awareness to your current experience. And then exhale, letting it go, not clinging or gripping, not attached to what is, knowing that we are always changing, always in this state of shift. Generous inhale. Taking it all in, appreciating it all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then exhale, letting it go. Grateful for this gift. One more full and deep breath in through your nose. Slow and smooth. Exhale out your nose. If you can stay, I encourage you to do so. If now's the time to head back into your day, slowly invite some movement back to your body, starting small and then getting bigger. When you're ready, rolling onto your preferred side and gently pressing yourself up into any upright seated position. When you arrive, giving your head and neck a little roll, your shoulders a little shrug. And then finding this easy but alert, calm and grounded position. We'll seal our practice with one last breath together. Inhale your arms outwards, upwards, wide, palms find each other above your head. And then exhale, pull your thumbs down to your heart space, bow in. Acknowledging your incredible body that allows you to experience the world and for the world to experience you right back. It's an honor and privilege to move my body with you. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you again soon.